Let's talk about how we're developing downtown a little bit more. You just spoke about the grocery store development, um, but what else do we have
So
going
we've
on?
got a new county annex that's coming there.
Okay.
So Bell County annex is coming. So we'll have the appraisal district. What is the DMV will be there. The new justices will have their new courthouses housed there as well. So I'm really excited about that. I'm thankful that they've chosen to come downtown and
Mm-hmm.
keep that space for our constituency, so that we didn't lose. It's very important not to lose a lot of our resources
Right.
in District One, because again, we are struggling with some of the things that we absolutely need, but having access to those resources up there was extremely important to keep up. So I'm very thankful to the county for developing that,
Okay.
and so it's coming along nicely. Honestly, we've got several businesses that are about to open in the area. They've got not just bars. We've got some restaurants that are coming, some coffee houses that are coming. There's a speakeasy that's about to open there, and of course, we've got Southern Roots, Vita Roxy, and several other
Mm-hmm.
businesses that are hanging on the cigar lounge for those of you that love cigars. Um,
Zodiac Bar and Grill.
Zodiac Bar and
Shout
Grill.
out to Mo and
Um,
Courtney.
we need East Center for entertainment space.
Miss Carolyn.
Wonderful. But hey, she's community.
Oh yeah,
She's the community mom for sure when it comes
yeah.
to
Miss Carolyn does it.
helping out the community and having a beautiful space to host events
Mm-hmm.
down there. So we've got Tony Ringgold, who's been holding it down for us out there, and of course you got Candice. There's a lot of great business. We got
Hussein Abdullah, my mentor.
Hussein Abdul. Yes,
I love
yes,
him.
yes. There's so many good people. Um, yes, there's so many. And I'm very thankful. There's some medical professionals down there, some therapists down
Mm-hmm.
there. We've got some holistic therapeutic folks that are down there that just opened. So a lot of businesses that are venturing into that downtown area, and I'm
Yes.
very thankful to them, because again, we couldn't do this without them,
Right.
and they had to believe in the vision and the mission that we set before them. When I'm out there championing our city and our downtown and this whole process, again, we had to do it together. And so they are putting their hard-earned dollars, their blood, sweat, and tears down there to make this place a better place. And I'm so thankful for every single owner. And it makes me so proud. This is what makes
Yes.
me happy,
Absolutely.
to see us, the small businesses, coming together, us, the community, them patronizing our small businesses.
Absolutely.
And so I encourage people to please not just listen to the naysay on the internet and things like that. Come down and visit and just explore. I mean, it's nice to see people actually walking around and window shopping at frames and things. This beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
art gallery down there. Come look and see what we've got going on, and come stop into some of these businesses. You'd be surprised about the great services they offer. Right here in our own backyard. And so I'm very thankful to our community, because I firmly believe community is everything. It really is. And that we set the tone and the direction for the city. And
Absolutely.
so if anything, I want to leave our constituents about, um, I do take all of this very seriously, because I personally have an interest in wanting Colleen to be better, wanting us to be the best that we can be the best that
Absolutely.
we can be, and to be a place where we can all feel comfortable living, working, and playing. And I can see us in a much better place, right? And so my hope is that our tenacity, our feistiness, that we start to use it together as an advantage and not against each other, but in a way that we start scrapping with the other folks who take us for granted,
Okay.
right? We start, the mayor had mentioned during one of the last council meeting on Tuesday that she hoped that our constituency that comes to the city, some of the issues that they bring to us, are they're very passionate about, which is fine, but it's not necessarily a city issue.
Okay.
It happens at the state level. So I
Yes.
always encourage people that we have to watch what's happening, not only on the city level, but at the state, at the federal level. And we should have
Mm-hmm.
relationships with those congressional reps, those state reps, because some of those things that they do are directly in line with the things that we can do as a municipality.
Sure.
So, for example, some people don't understand what I say when I say that, what that means. So funding for roads and infrastructure.
Right.
Federal government under last administration gives a grant for jobs and infrastructure. Who then helps us have access to, who can lobby for us to have access to those federal dollars to be able to have the funds that we need to be able to
Right.
fix our roads
The
and
state.
incrementally, so it's not right, the state. So it's coming from the federal government to the state. So we need to have very close relationships with those entities to get things done. So my hope is that we take our feistiness, we take that scrappy that we've got here, and we start to have community talks like this more
Okay.
often, help led by citizens like you, more often, with us present that can actually make the decision and say, okay, what are we going to lobby for? So like right now, we're gearing up for our lobbying initiatives for the Stand Shooter Group. What are they taking to the next Texas legislative session? What are some important components that we need to be lobbying or having someone lobby on our behalf for as a city? What do we need here that the state can provide or that the federal government can provide to the state to provide to us? Those are the kind of high level conversations, like I say, I wish that we were
Okay.
having more often, that we can start to have now.
I got a question.
Yes, ma'am.
You're not gonna like it.
Uh-oh.
How do you feel about when people with negative opinions, for instance, they may call the board racist or things like that? How does that make y'all feel? Because I can't imagine someone saying things like that while I'm trying to serve the community and I keep my composure. I would have an issue. You are a professional.
I'm talking about staying quiet. I'm listening and I'm processing all of this.
Process racism,
Oh my
anger.
gosh. It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. I have to commend always the people that take the time to actually get to know us, first of all, as people. Don't make assumptions about people and who you think they are, because you don't know, again, where I come from. You don't know my family. You don't know my personal beliefs. We haven't had a sit-down conversation like this.
Right.
You don't know. And
Right.
so for you to assume, it's a very dark, it's a very a bad thing to do. Some of the things that I've experienced, and I've shared this story with some people, some of the things that I've experienced on council, unfortunately, I've never experienced before in my life. And so what you're talking about, being from here, I always counted myself lucky that I was from a blended community, a community of people from all walks of life, all socioeconomic levels, military background, coming from different ethnic backgrounds. I always joked I wanted to be from someplace cool and different and unique, but ultimately the world came to me being from here in Killeen. And so from that, I got a worldly view that a lot of people don't have. And I'm very blessed to have met so many people from all over. And so my views are very broad when it comes to those things. So I'm going to be perfectly honest and say that it hurts.
Okay.
I was hoping that my community, I know that we can't say we're immune. I'm not that naive, right, to say that we'd be immune from certain things. But I always said, not in my backyard. We're not about that. We're not going to have that here, because we are so diverse, because we've been so blended, because we have the military as our backbone, the military is our crux. And we are not just talking about a love of military, because we are truly the military built on veterans. Veterans are a majority of our population here. So I just knew that it would be a little different in this area, and I was hopeful. And so sometimes it's unfortunate, but I also know that the voices that we do hear that say those horrible things are not the majority. And so it takes me, when I get out into the public and when I start having my town halls, or I get the calls from people after the meetings that say, it's okay. We don't all think like that. That is not representative of all of us, or the person. And everybody knows I'm a big crybaby anyways, but that
you better not cry.
A girl, I'm trying to keep it together. But I'm so thankful to the people that prayed with us before the meetings.
Right.
There's some things that we don't have to show and tell everybody. For me, there are people that have been instrumental in this community.
Yes, a lot of good people are
that
here.
Rallied behind us and helped us keep it together.
Yeah.
That said, you're not alone, that we support you. And it means a lot. And so I could not have done the things without, when I tell you, those boots on the ground, those prayer warriors, the seniors that rallied around us, the community people that called and said, and even this one gentleman, and you know who you are, I'm sure you're going to watch this too when it comes out. He was not the nicest person to me in the beginning. He said some really horrible things in the beginning. But one day I had time to talk to him and have a conversation. And after I got done listening, I got to explain and talk to him. And we talked for about a good 2.5 hours. And this is when I first got on council. And he said, well, I like what I hear. He goes, but then you got to show me. And do you know, the same man called me 2 years later when I was reelected the second time. And he said, I'm so proud of you. And this is not
Wow.
the nicest person in
Right.
the, he was not a very nice person, but he called me back. He said, I'm proud of you because you kept your word. You did what you're supposed to do and you've been consistent, fair, concise. And he said, and so he was like, just keep up the good work, kiddo. And then from there, you know, conversations were always, and if trust me, if I voted a certain way and he wasn't happy, he would still voice that opinion. And
Right.
but now we're at a level where we can respect each other and have a conversation. And so that's why when I say these things about to people about controlling our narrative, when I talk to people um, about having conversations like this, we don't always have to agree. I'm not so naive to think that we're always going to agree. You might be the biggest, you know, racist in the world, and that could be your position in life. And if you choose to stand on that
Right.
principle, then that's your choice as a human being. However, as one of our council members said, potholes don't have parties, potholes don't have principles, right?
Right.
So my job as a council member is not to deal in your personal um, position and to not bring my personal position to you either. It's to say what is going to be the greatest good for our community. How do we
Right.
fix the challenges that we have as a community? Because all of the things that we're dealing with affect each of us directly in that respect, whether you're black, white, racist, not, you know, old,
Mm-hmm.
young. And so that's where I choose to focus, and that's what's kept me going. But I cannot say that it doesn't hurt. I cannot say that I'm not disappointed sometimes of the things that I hear, but I'm thankful and that when I'm reminded that that is not the bulk of the beliefs of the people in the city of Killeen.
Because it's a bipartisan position in the first place.
Completely.
So my stance is that county below, I don't believe it should have,
I would agree.
because roads, schools, taxes, these are things we all want. We want a safe community.
Right.
And if you don't
Right.
want that, you have no business here.
Right.
We might not agree on how to get there.
Right.
But I think overall, those are the things we want. We want to bring good businesses to Killeen. Want to make sure that we have good businesses, good schools, good roads, all these things. We just want things to be more efficient.
That's right. Efficiency is key.
So
Yes.
if we could work together, we should work together.
And can I tell you, and I love that, and that's so true. And then the thing is that we're not going to always have the answers.
Mm-mm.
So what would it do for you to sit there and rail against the city council about why they made a decision that they made when maybe all the information we had and based on the experts that we have to go off of, this is what we were presented and this is where we came to our deductive reasoning and made that decision. But if you have an idea, or you want to say, why not try it like this, or can you try it like this, this is where I challenge and push back on the community to say, don't always assume that there's a nefarious reason for something happening, or if you don't understand why a decision was made, pick up the phone and call, or come to the council meetings, please, and ask and say, hey, or send a question to somebody like Ashley so she can ask us on the record why we made the decision that we made, or why didn't we think of this X, Y, and Z? Because sometimes, and some of the citizens have some really great ideas. Why didn't you think of this? And it's like, oh my gosh, yeah, well, that's a great idea. Let's present it and see if we can make it work. Sometimes we can, sometimes we can't. There are a lot of citizens that are very vocal like that, and I'm very thankful for them for that, because we don't have all the answers and we don't have all of the ideas. And so sometimes it does take the community again to step out and say, hey, this is coming up on your agenda. Have you thought about X, Y, and Z? Have you reached out to such and such? There's some people think that when we get out there in council that we've already made a determination, and I cannot speak for anyone else, but I can say that that's not necessarily that's not a true statement. But what I won't do is I will not make a predetermination on anything. The reason is because I'm going to do all my research on the back end. I'm going to talk to the parties to whatever the situation is that's relevant. And then sometimes I have to reach out to my community members and have conversation, pick up the phone and say, hey, Mr. Constituent, what do you think about these things? Or Miss Constituent, what are your thoughts on this? Because this is a foreign area to me. And then I continue to do my research. But then I sit quietly on that council and listen to the presentation from my staff, the presentation from the other speakers, because sometimes they present information I hadn't thought of before. That might sway the decision one way or the other. So it's not about being inconsistent or not. It's like, okay, well, this I hadn't thought of. This changes my position on a particular thing. As a legislator, we should be flexible in that respect as well. And so that's something that I'm also very proud of, is because I do actively listen to our constituents. So to that point, I always say, please, don't elect us and leave us.
Okay.
Don't elect us and leave us.
Now, another thing, and I appreciate your openness and willingness to talk, but it seems like it's a lot of internal infighting on that board, as well as with the office of the mayor. It may just be appearances, but that's how it looks to us. And so, a lot of people have come to me and said, "Are they really working together? Or are they in opposition to one another?"
Yeah, and then that's a fair statement, right? Because perception is nine tenths, and what some people don't know is that some of those workshops when you see is kind of going round and round. That's
Mm,
the only time that we do have where we can collectively
okay.
shoot off these ideas, or I get to state a point, or somebody can say why they disagree on a certain thing. Those are the only times that we have to have those conversations because we cannot meet separately because we cannot have these conversations offline. That's when it happens.
Because it's actually
So
against the Open Meeting Act.
right, right. So that's what you're seeing is this
Hmm.
open and these conversations or these what they some people see as back and forth. That's the moment that that's happening because that's the only chance that we've had to actually have the conversation, and so it's not abnormal. I'm very proud of our council. I'm very proud of the fact that a lot of the things that we've done to progress our city forward, we could not have done if there was a lot of that infighting, if we did not have a shared vision of unifying behind our comprehensive plan. Again, nothing is perfect, and I understand that, but we understand the guise of that principle, and everybody shares that vision. I can say, without saying I'm speaking for the council, I believe in my heart of hearts that everyone's hearts are in the right place
Okay.
and that they do truly have a heart for the city. And how we get there is what's different. And you have to remind people that some people have to shake it up, some people have to kick the door down, some people have to be the lobbying body of that the council. We all have our different personalities and communication traits, but I, based on the things that we've been able to accomplish for our police and for our fire, for our community development, for our new projects that we're working on, for revitalization, for those grant programs that we were able to create, for the ARPA funds that we were able to create and put in place, these programs, we are working together. We are working in the best interest of the city. My hope is that it continues and that
Okay.
whoever comes on board after us has the same heart, has the same vision, and understands that you can't just stop the business. We have to continue to build as we move in whatever direction that we're going, but that we're going in the same direction as a city, and um, we move forward together.
And I'm a big advocate of the Business Resource Center getting back on the map. Is there anything we can do to help, or is there any? What does the city need to get another BRC?
So it was worked through the Texas Workforce Commission. So there's a lot of things that I think they're city, sole city responsibilities. It's not.
Okay.
So that was funding that was cut through the Texas Workforce Commission. So I would say I have not followed up on the subject. So this is something that maybe you could do that for us as well. And I would love to
Mm,
come back and say, but definitely I know that IBCC was working on some sort of partnership to be able to put this resource back together. There were several groups that were working on it. So I would say let's start there and let's research it and
okay.
see, because there are other organizations that were looking at how they could, that was in their wheelhouse, how they could put something like that together. I don't know where they're at in the process, but we can figure it out.
Another conceptually maybe having a Bell County EDC is something that was put out as well. So I mean, there's options. I just think that we, especially with the growth, we're going to need those type of resources.
You're right. And I would like, it doesn't happen, but I wish there was a time where we could have a county-wide meeting like of
Hmm.
the legislators, or even even if it was a biannual meeting with us and KISD, for
Right.
example, or us and the county commissioners and the people that could make these decisions on how we move our county forward. I would love to see a time where there was a meeting of those minds collectively where we can give input and updates and then make sure that our vision and mission is on the same page and that we're moving ourselves in the right direction, because ultimately we should be working together. And each piece is so important, to bringing whether it's funds or resources to our constituency, but we don't communicate. We're still operating in a proverbial silo in that respect as well. So that's one of the things I would love to see across the county ultimately.
Yeah, because I think this is me. This is no one else. This is not your opinion. But I don't see the county supporting the city of Killeen as they should, because you have the majority of your constituents here. No, two, this is where a lot of your money is. So I want county to be more engaged, not involved, but engaged both ways with the city of Killeen.
So being from here, I'm going to tell you, this is the first, and so yes, I agree with that. Historically, this is the
Hmm.
first time that being from here, I can say that there are people that share that same sentiment, and I see the change. And I see them working together. I've had conversations with our commissioners across the board. I have these conversations. I see that everybody's hearts are truly in the right place. We don't have necessarily a mechanism to do what we're talking about right now yet, but this is the first time I can say where I've seen the city, the county, the ISD, the EDCs, we're on the same page. We're just not quite there yet.
Okay.
This is the first time I can say that. And so that's what gives me hope.
Yeah.
That's what gives me hope. We just have to find the mechanisms to get everybody in the room together. That would be great, even if, like I said, it was twice a year or something, so that we can continue to figure out where the gaps are and fill them for our community to be more efficient. It's important. But I'm still optimistic when it comes to that.
Okay.
I still am optimistic when it comes to that.
Yeah, they need to put some respect on Colleen.
I do agree though, and that's again statewide. Like we deserve it, right? Like we
Yeah.
deserve it. We have so much to offer here. And again, when I talk about the businesses that we have, the businesses that potentially can come here, our ready workforce that's already in place, there's a lot to offer, with the city of Killeen. People say, well, I've heard people say, well, that's just a poor town. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, it's not true. I mean, like while we're struggling because of mismanagement and historically and things like that, and a lack of focus, a lack of vision, those things have contributed to where we are now. That's put us behind the curb. People are spending money. They're spending outside of our area. They're spending their dollars elsewhere. You're traveling to go take your children to events on the weekends and museums on the weekends. You're traveling outside of our area to have your quality of life enhanced. And then you come back here and do what? So those are the things that we need to think about and stop labeling ourselves as this thing in the past. One of the stories I tell, and I know we're wrapping it up, but one of the stories I tell people is there was a lady, this story was shared with me, and it was Thanksgiving time. And there was this lady, and she had this turkey. And when she's preparing the turkey, she cuts off the wings and puts it in this thing and seasons it up and throws it in the oven. And so finally at Thanksgiving, the kids were like, Mom, why do you cut off these wings and why do you cut down the turkey? And she's like, I don't know. My mom used to do it. So she asked the Mom, why do you cut down the turkey and cut off the wings and make it smaller before you put it in the oven? And she goes, well, I don't know, because my mom used to do it. So they go to Grandma and they say, Grandma, why did you do this and cut down the turkey and cut down the wing? And she said, because the stoves were too small. The stoves were smaller then. So I say that we cannot keep doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome. Now,
Yes.
it's a silly. It sounds like a silly story, but it's relevant to what we are going through as a city. We are in control of our narrative. We have to stop the infighting and start fighting together for our causes as a city, right? We have to change sometimes the way we do things, and change is never easy. It's never perfect, so we have to give ourselves grace to do that. We have to be able to focus on the bigger picture and have higher level conversations so that when we're talking to people who say bring business here and open up more opportunities for jobs and things like that, well, we can figure out how to do that and how to expedite that and how to make it happen. But we can't keep doing the same thing we were doing back in the day. We can't keep saying the old narratives that were said back in the day. We have to start redefining who we are as a people, who we are as a city, and where we expect to be in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And so I'm hopeful that we can do that. And that's my mission as it relates to my town, because I know we can. So I'm going to keep fighting for that.
I love that. So if anyone wants to get in contact with you, how would they go about that?
Yep. So all my contact information is on our website, and I want you to go to the website, so KilleenTexas.gov, because I also want you to sign up for Code Red, which are emergency notifications if you're not. I want you to check out See Click Fix, so that way if you're out there driving around, you see those potholes or something that's wrong that we can fix. You can report it right through that app. I want you to explore the website. I want you to see where those things are, because there's tools for you there. I want you to sign up for notifications for meetings across the city. You can choose whichever ones are most important to you, and you can get those notifications of meeting times and things like that. So once you go to the website, if your concern is roads, then check out the page where it gives you all of the updates on the roads. And then you can find all of the contact information for me there as well. Please come to our meetings every other Tuesday while they're at 3 o'clock. Oh, that's another thing. But anyways, we'll go. That was a request of our constituency beforehand, though. So that's another thing.
That's because y'all meetings were late.
They were late. Here,
yeah, let's talk about it.
Go to our website and visit us, okay? Get all the information there.
Y'all meetings used to be to 9. I couldn't do it.
Well, they were sometimes midnight. When I first started,
we
were there until like it was
that's
a lot.
why I stopped going. I'm keeping it real. I was like, I can't do this. I got stuff to do.
People ask, okay, so I can't speak for all the other changes that happened, but one of them, sorry, it's just
I can't do
there's
it.
so much. Ashley, we might have to have a part 2 or 3 or 4. But that was another thing that came up, and they were like, "Why did you guys change the meetings?" I was, well, because people beforehand asked for this. The issue that was one of the issues when I came on council was the meeting times being at the time they were. People that worked were still complaining about the 5 o'clock meeting because people work until 6 and they got dinner and they have things that they have to do. But the problem was our meetings, along with KISD, were happening at the same time.
Right.
The biggest complaint was that if you were a parent in this area, you had to choose between which meeting you wanted to come to, and it was difficult for people. So they were like, "Why don't you and KISD work on rotating your meeting times and things like that?" And we tried. We reached out, had a conversation. It didn't quite work out just for a number of reasons. And so at that time, the conversation was maybe if we adjust our time, then people can come or we can push it back. And so we didn't know what the ultimate resolution was for. It wasn't anything, again, dark and nefarious. It was really so that people could have a chance to go to one meeting or the other, but we weren't overlapping directly. I mean, obviously the meetings run long, but that was at the request of a certain constituent block. And it's fine if sometimes you try things and they don't work. Well, let's try something else. Let's figure it out, guys. What do you recommend now? If you don't like the times at 3 o'clock, then make your recommendation, right? It's never going to be perfect for everyone. But I'm telling you, we've had meetings at 12 and that room was packed. We've had meetings at 3 and there's nobody. We've had meetings at 5 and there's nobody. We've had meetings at 3 and there's packed. It just depends on the subject matter is really what we find, what brings out the constituency. But the good thing, regardless, is that you can all watch it from home. So if you don't know, if you have Spectrum, you can stream it on Channel 10. You can go to our website directly again, and you can click on the government tab, and you can watch it directly from cleantexas.gov. So that website is a huge resource for you. So even if you can't make it, you can log in and you can watch it from several sources. The agenda is posted beforehand so people can see what's coming up and what we're going to be discussing. You can email to your council members, and you can email, you can call, you can come and talk, you can request a meeting like this. I mean, there's so many different ways in which you can communicate. Everybody's style is different, but it's all out there for us. It's just sometimes you got to do a little work and to get it, but it's all out there. Sorry, just reminded the meeting times.
Last question.
Yes.
Your peers are running for mayor. How you feel about that?
Great. I wish everyone good luck.
That's a good way to say that. Well, y'all, it's DJ Such a Lady and Friends with
Councilmember Jessica Gonzales
running for
Justice of the Peace, Place 4, Precinct 4, Place 2.